before they could be called, they had to be equipped. This is something we talk a lot about in our youth ministry. And it's like, okay, don't think just because you're in the called program, you've made it. That's one step. Being called, you know how many people are called and never respond or are disqualified and don't finish well? Don't think that being called into ministry, and we tell this to the students all the time, is some sort of supernatural covering. You also have to be equipped. No one cares that you're called if you don't know how to read the Bible. No one cares that you're called. And we dealt with this a lot with the young adults ministry. We got there, the young adults ministry, they would love to tell you about what they're called to do. And it was always like the most glamorous things. Oh, I'm going to be a missionary to insert exotic location, right? It was never like the People's Republic of China in the poorest village. It was always like some tropical area. Like, why does God always seem to call you, right? I'm like, this is interesting. Or it'd be like, oh, I'm going to be a church planner, and we're going to this and that, and we're going to, God's called me to plant a mega church. Okay. And so I would make note, I would hear the young adults who said they were called into ministry. So then I would bring up their names when we needed stuff, we needed help on things, because these are people, these are young adults who are by their own admission, called into ministry. So we'd reach out to them for help with different things. And almost always their response was, I can't help with that. Why not? And so finally I sat someone down and I said, please explain to me why you always say no. In fact, this whole group, it seems like the ones that are most vocal about what you're called into are the ones that are never available to actually help with anything around the church. And they're like, it's because we're called into this great work, not these little things around the church. And I said, okay, got it. Enough said. You're never going to fulfill your calling. They were offended. How could you say that? You just told me your heart. I don't care that what you're called into. You're not willing to be equipped. You're not willing to go. And that's this process of discipleship. If we're not willing to be equipped, if we're not willing to go through the process of discipleship, we're never going to fulfill whatever that calling is on our lives. And there's story after story in the Bible of people who were called into things and then failed. There's a story of a prophet who didn't obey, who was told, go straight home, don't eat. Don't stop. Don't go to anyone's home. He did anyways. He was eaten by a lion on the way home. He didn't make it. So there are real life consequences, and it's not just this matter of, well, when I was 14, I was called, and so therefore everything's going to magically lock into place. We have to go through an equipping. We have to go through a discipleship process. So everyone wants a platform, but no one wants the character.